Start.
Sorry.
Hey, we are so sorry.
We are so late.
Oh my
This has
gosh.
been a day.
It has been a day. It's been a great day, but it ended up as a busy day at the end.
Yep.
He had to run to the popcorn shop, and I had to go my my daughter up from the airport,
She made a left in Albuquerque.
and I went the wrong way as many times as I have been to the doggone airport.
Mm-hmm.
Can that go? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's there you go. That's don't even force it no more. As many times as I've been to the airport, um, ridiculous.
Yep.
So we're sorry. We're sorry.
So we've
On
missed
the bill.
2 weeks of Married Mondays. My wife has been not feeling well. So I want to thank everybody who gave her well wishes and everything. I hope the guys on, if you see now, this is why y'all need to be on every platform. If you was on the Facebook page, Tag Team Wedding, you would have saw the video earlier today.
Hey sis.
Concerning we're going to be on tonight, everything that's been going on in our relationship, everything's been going on with this. My baby not feeling well, issues going on with family death, family transitions. So tonight, we're going to talk about the 80-20 rule of marriage. But before we get started, we thank everybody for being here. We still are inviting you to our wedding, which is February 20th, 2021. Just go to tagteammarriage.com and
Tag Team Wedding.
Tagteamwedding.com. And go ahead and RSVP. We got people RSVPing that we just met today.
Like
so
literally
just met people today, and they're RSVPing. So there's no excuse for you guys who've been with us for a minute.
Who are family.
Yeah. So go ahead and do that. Just take care of your food and beverage, and we're good. Wolfgang Puck Catering. Yeah. Moving on. So of course our church today is very apropos. What do you say?
Always protect your queen.
And always trust your queen.
Your queen?
Yeah. I mean, always trust your king. Sorry. So, if you saw the video today, and I'm going to give it a little bit for everybody who's not on the Tag Team Wedding page.
So we aren't clear.
Don't know why you aren't clear.
Like hearing, you can't hear us. Not clear. Can this screen come down a little bit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why are you saying you can't hear? Like it's not clarity in the microphone? It's kind of low on the microphone.
Is it? Oh, this one too. Is on. So it should be. You have one green.
Screen is a little choppy, but fine. Yeah, this laptop is not as clear as like a phone would be. Usually I do the YouTubes on my phone.
Hey, Wendy.
What up, sis?
Hey, Miss Hines. I can never say her name.
Yeah, that's, I don't know.
Okay.
Let me see.
Millicent. Millicent. Hey, Millicent.
That didn't help.
That didn't help.
Try to wipe the camera off a little bit.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you guys could just let us know on Facebook, we can see who's on, but on YouTube we can't
until you say something.
So if you can just shout out and say a hi over here. I see you on marriage, tag team marriage. I see there's someone here, but we can't see her. So just give us a whole shout. Hi, shout us out. So we are so sorry for being late. Like I said, we had a lot going on today, but we definitely didn't want to miss because we missed the last 2 weeks.
So for those who saw the YouTube, the Tag Team Wedding video that we did earlier today on the bridge, I'm going to reiterate some of that because it goes right into what we're talking about today. What's up, Arkansas?
Arkansas.
So, we took as you guys know, you may not know. What we look to do is take a 1 weekend trip or at least an overnight trip.
Once a month.
And so we went to Greenville, South Carolina, which I'm just going to say, if you local and that's an easy trip to make, that's a great little city to go and visit.
We are definitely going back to Greenville.
Yeah, Greenville is nice.
South Carolina.
Loved it. Enjoyed it. Great food, great little downtown area. We had a really good time.
Little nightlife going on in the day. Let's ask the question: can a relationship survive infidelity, in your opinion? Okay.
It can, and some of what we're going to talk about today can help you in that.
Right.
In that area. So when we was in Greenville, to give you guys, because
You're coming back, Benny.
We're gonna come back, Benny. To be totally transparent. Okay, yes, my wife has been sick, literally sick, for the last 2 weeks, and that's why we haven't done Marriage Mondays. But also, we have had some sickness in our relationship over the last 2 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, for around a while. And while we were standing on this bridge, to one side, the water is still. The water doesn't look like it's moving. It looks nice and calm and peaceful. But what we described is that underneath there's poison. Underneath there's all kind of issues and things, dirt and soot and all this kind of stuff is just underneath. This is where death happens. This is where insects lay their eggs. This is the environment for that. And on the other side of the bridge was a waterfall that then crashed into rapids, right? So in the waterfall that crashed into rapids, which is the part that most people would want to avoid, we want to stay on the pristine part, the part that's not moving, but where the water is crashing and there's a lot of movement and you see the movement. Those who understand survival know that it is after the crashing of the waters is where you dip your canteen to fill with cleaner water, that the rocks and the crashing purifies the water. So in a relationship sense, when there is damage going on in what looks pristine, underneath there's damage, underneath there's poison, underneath there's unresolved issues, underneath there's turmoil, which creates an environment for insects to lay their eggs, which creates an environment for negative people, negative events, negative things that you have in your past, all these negativities to survive, live, and thrive. But when you go over the fall and you start crashing into the rocks, and meaning you have to deal with the issues, you face them, you challenge them, that's when your purification comes. That's when the alchemy of the mind, the alchemy of the spirit, the alchemy of the soul, the alchemy of your energy, that's when the alchemy of purification starts to happen, right? That's when all your prayers, you can pray all day, but until the actions happen, that's when you have to start dealing with it. And so that's what's been going on in our relationship. We hadn't been seriously, we've been dealing, but not truly dealing with everything that's going on. And in doing so, we counseled someone about a week ago. Was that a week ago?
For what? You have to
80-20. Was that a week?
Yeah.
Okay, so we counseled somebody about a week or so ago. And we want to share that with you guys using our own transparency. We told them that when you understand the love language of your partner, and when you understand your own love language, what we have to then do is apply the 80-20 rule. You see, I can be doing, okay, so my baby can have 100 things that is an issue that she wants done, right? That she wants to happen in the relationship, ways of being talked to, places to go, things, gifts to give, dates to have, household things to clean, car things to take care of, a certain way of life that she wants to live. And there could be 100 things. Now, if you are the type person where you're going to argue, fuss, or fight, or have an expectation of the 100 things, then you're going to cause the person to say, well, I do everything that you're asking, and you ask for all of this stuff. So when the things I fail on, you still get mad.
Right.
But what we have to do is sit back and say, okay, out of the 100 things, and this goes for everything in life, everything, business, money, happiness, growth, everything. Only a small 20% actually gives you 80% of your happiness. That's the true 80-20 rule of marriage, of life, is that it's a small few things that give you the biggest results. Kind of like in my popcorn shop, there we have 26 flavors, but in all honesty, 80% of the money comes from about 5 flavors. But we don't get rid of everything else, but we recognize where the what's important. So we make sure we have those. So I have to make sure those flavors are ready, that when people walk in the door, I got
Mm-hmm.
So in a relationship, you have to identify what's your 20% that actually means the most.
That makes
So
a difference.
right, so that you're not arguing and fussing or having issues or getting caught up into your feelings about 80% of the stuff that only really matters 20%.
It's almost like the concept of choose your battles.
Mm-hmm.
Choose your battles. Is everything worth, or is this worth getting into a disagreement about? Is this worth arguing about? Is this worth us not speaking to each other over? You have to choose your battles and choose what things really affect. And a big thing, never tell your spouse how they should feel. I'm big on you don't tell somebody how they should feel. So to say, oh, that's not a big deal. Hey, Miss Linda. Sorry, y'all. That had to be a special shout out. To say that's not a big deal, you're making too much out of that. That's petty. That is insultive. That is insensitive. And that's not creating an environment where your spouse feels like they can share their feelings with you and you be considerate of them. So he was talking about we've been going through this battle. We've been going through this battle. And as transparent as we always like to be, we're going to continue to be transparent. Because I made a video on Saturday. I took my nephew and I went to the botanical gardens, and I just needed a change of environment. I needed to go somewhere where I could just, and it was a great day. And it just brought a lot of emotion on because I wanted him there, but I was so frustrated and angry with him. He wasn't there because he wasn't invited. He was there because he was at work. But I needed to do something to refocus my mind. So I made a video that talked about that, and it just kind of poured out into other areas and other issues for people, and they took from it what they needed and what worked. And I appreciate that. I'm glad of that. That for myself and for someone else that they can get that. But I said in the video that I have true happiness. Overall, I can say I am happy. I'm appreciative of what God has blessed me with individually as a single woman, then coming together in marriage, what He's done. So it doesn't take away from it at all. But it does not say that there are not battles and issues and problems and depression and anxiety and all those things. And being that we both have been previously married and we're grown, we've dealt with other people, we've dealt with hurts, we dealt with disappointments, and all of those things you have to take and put them in proper perspective in your life. I don't believe that phrase get over it, because you don't necessarily get over something. You get through it and you make a change that you make, not because someone else said it. But with the 80-20, like he was saying, that there are really 20%. There's 20, not percent, sorry, out of 100, that 20 is really what makes all of what fulfills you. It's the other things that are just either add-ons, or they might help here, or that was nice here, or that was good there. But it's that 20. And we speak a lot on love languages. And it's very, very important that you understand your spouse's love language, because understanding each other's love language, not just understanding it, but actively working on it.
Mm-hmm.
I love getting gifts, whether they're small tokens or large tokens. I love receiving gifts from my husband. It just, little tokens to make me feel special. Not that that's all it's about, but there's certain, it does something. If he brings me flowers, or, I'm crazy about the Little Mermaid. Hence why which is why the wedding is at the Georgia Aquarium. Um, and for him to hone in on that and focus on that and say, this is what my wife needs and what my wife desires, and does those things, um, is really meaningful. But at the same time, my love language is strong with me in my mind. So I tend to, that tends to what motivates me to do for him.
Right.
And what I have to realize is, it's not that he doesn't appreciate getting gifts from me or small tokens or whatever, or big tokens, large tokens. That's just not his thing. So it doesn't, that's not his 20. That's not in his 20, but it's in my 20. So for him to learn how to handle my 20, and for me to understand my 20, and not make issues out of the 80, not saying disregard the 80, but does the 80 really, really matter in the whole spectrum of it?
Mm-hmm.
And this is something, this is not just for new marriages. Even people who have been married for 20, 30, 10, 15, 11, whatever years, we can go on and on and on and on and still not hit the mark with this with our spouses. Hence why we are not on our first marriage.
Right.
Because if we did that previously, we would still be on our first marriage. But you live and you learn, and you don't just learn, but if you learn better, you're expected to do better.
Right.
So we're trying, but there's nothing perfect here. I'm perfect. He's not.
What else?
There's nothing perfect here. There's nothing perfect here.
Only an imperfect person would say that.
There's nothing perfect here. Yeah. I want to just touch on Benny's question, because I don't want to keep going and and go over that. So on Lorenzo's YouTube channel, there's a question posed by the name is Benny, and it says,
in a relationship.
Okay. It says, can a relationship survive infidelity in your opinion? I say yes.
I say yes as well.
I say yes. And I say yes, it can, Benny, because the thought when I read that immediately came to me of why the infidelity. That was the thought that came to me. And I know the first reaction of some people may be like, what you mean? Why? I didn't do anything. That was them being weak, or that was them not controlling themselves, or that was them. But anytime there's infidelity, I think we owe it enough to look at it to say, why was the infidelity? Why did the infidelity happen?
Right.
Because when you get married, you make a commitment to the other person. And if your commitment to the other person does not cover their needs and their desires, it means, why are you here? Like, that's our catchphrase. That's our thing. We tried to find a catchphrase a long time ago. Why are you here? And we ended up with, why are you here? And at first it was like, that don't work, but it's sticking. So why are you here? So if your spouse committed some form of infidelity, if there was some form of infidelity in the relationship, take enough time to sit back and ask yourself why.
Right.
Why the infidelity in the first place?
And when you dig into the why, the 80-20 rule still applies. So if just to give an example, I don't know, Benny, if it's a male or female who committed the adultery or not. But usually a person who committed the infidelity, now I'm going to say this, if the person just did it because of availability, like she was just there or he was just there or something like that, they just a dog. And
there's a possibility.
There's a morality issue right there. But even in that, you got to ask, okay, why is there a morality issue? It's usually not going to be, 80% is going to be that surface stuff that they're going to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did it because I was feeling lonely. I did it because you don't care for me no more. I did it because you don't dress sexy. I did it because you gained weight. Mm-hmm. I did it because, we argue all the time. You was the one who cheated? I'm trying to figure out.
Thank you, Benny, for your honesty and transparency. I was the one who cheated. I'm trying to figure out if it's because I don't love myself or if it's because I don't love her. I didn't cheat because she did anything wrong, but because of lust. Then, yeah, Benny, it was out of selfish motive.
So now here's the thing. You said you did it. She didn't. There's nothing you can pinpoint as to what
And I'm
that
trying
other
to
person
change it.
did. Cool. Now, you're you're saying you're a dog, but you're trying to change it. In order for you to change it, you have to find that one or two things in your history that has created a mindset for you
Mm-hmm.
that allows you to see that situation and not turn from it. I'm
Right.
not saying no man or woman ever thinks about it when presented the opportunity. It's what you do beyond the thinking, because people are going to offer to be with my wife. Women are going to offer to be with me. It's that split second moment of what you do within the decision, and different things of how you grew up. And that's what you got to dig into. Did you see your father or your male role models cheat? Was it that's a lot of guys we grow up with, however many women you conquer is something that you should be proud of, something that we got to like pat you on the back with.
Mm-hmm.
And the negative is, people always giving the negative. Oh man, you getting married? That's you mean you just gonna have one punani for the rest of your life?
Right.
Oh heck no.
Right.
It's these negative subliminal messages that we see, that we hear, things that we're expected. And we really have to dig deeper to see how do we change our mentality towards that? How do we change it? By identifying those one, two, three things that have given us that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And once we can identify it, then we can identify how to overcome it. What actionable steps? Actionable. It's nice to sit there and think, okay, well, I'm just going to be faithful to my wife, and if a woman approach me, I'm going to remove myself from the
Mm-hmm.
situation. No, it is. I got to have triggers that I set up for myself that says, if a woman is becoming too flirtatious, how do am I going to be rude? Look, pump the brakes. I don't deal with that. Do you need to remove yourself from environments? Don't go to the like. I love going. Okay. I haven't been in a very long time, but cigar bars is something that I like. My wife can't. She tried,
I tried.
but she can't stand a cigar bar. Now,
I get
let's say
smelling your hair and it's over.
so. If I go to a cigar bar tomorrow, right? Then and I'm fine. I can go to a cigar bar. I usually will sit by myself because it's meditative, thoughtful. But if going to a cigar bar and women want to approach me consistently, and I know I may have a weakness, you know what I need to do? Not go to the
Stay out of the
doggone cigar
cigar.
bar. Stay out of the environment
Right.
that will allow for it. If I know that I'm a very friendly person, if I know that my friendliness creates confusion and women try to get at me, and then I fall weakness to that, then I need to stop doing that. Now, in saying it, if the women mistake my friendliness for whatever, but I know that they ain't about to get nothing. That's their own problem. That's their problem. Whatever. But identify what your issues are.
Right.
What moves you that way, and then change your environment so that you become stronger. Because the only way you become stronger is to actively participate in things that makes you stronger.
Right. And we don't know the details, Benny, behind how it happened. We don't need to know the details behind how it happened. But like you said, you asked the question, is about yourself. Um, you don't love her. You can answer those questions, but there's usually something deeper
Right.
that goes behind
And it's interesting.
infidelity.
He said he didn't, is it that he doesn't love her? Here's the thing. Cheating on someone really has nothing to do with your love for someone. Cheating on someone usually have more to do with your respect
Mm-hmm.
for yourself, for them, and for the relationship. It's really not about love. As men, yeah, and dudes, if you sit up here and say no, you lying. Most of it. Some dudes, yeah. Most men can go have sex with a woman and not have any emotional attachment to that woman at all, but still be in love with their spouse, with somebody else. Love really ain't the thing that can stop, that's you saying, well, I don't love her, so I can cheat on her. I don't respect her. I don't respect myself, and I don't respect the situation,
Mm-hmm.
which is something that is more endearing to a man than love. I'm just being honest. Respect will supersede love in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
I know dudes who are married to women who respect them so much that then the love came after.
Mm-hmm.
And because
And
respect
ladies,
is
we
huge.
have to understand it. He's right. Respect comes before love with men. If you respect your man and he knows that, it's a whole different level of just saying, well, I love you, honey. I love you. I love you. Because respect is what they thrive off of.
Mhm.
So Benny, look, we are advocates for counseling. Because guess what? We are in counseling.
You sure are.
We are in individual counseling right now. And after the individual counseling, we're going to come together and we're going to have marriage counseling together. Doesn't say we're failures. Doesn't say you're a failure. It says I recognize that I'm not perfect. I recognize that the things that I'm choosing or things that are superseding my choices that it's hard for me to deal with and control. And I need some other source to help me to do better with that and get better. So Benny, find someone to talk to.
Yeah.
Um,
Coaching.
Counseling, yeah, figure out how you can do that. And she needs to do it as well with you. If she's accepting to stay, I don't even know if she knows. If she's accepting to stay, then the both of you will have to do that. Healthy people, I made this comment in my video on Saturday. Healthy people go to counseling.
Yep.
Because they want to stay healthy. They want to keep a healthy flow.
Right. It's like a healthy person go to the gym.
Right. Healthy people go to the gym. How many
Mhm.
sick people do you see dragging in the gym? I mean, sick people go to the gym because they're trying to get healthier. But if you go in there, you see those them gym buffs, and every time you go, they there. I remember I used to go to the gym religiously, faithfully some years ago.
I don't say she knows.
I was going okay. I was going to the gym faithfully, faithfully, faithfully. Thank you, sis. And there were certain people that I would see there.
Mm-hmm.
I literally moved from this area. Um, Years. We moved back on this side. We moved on this side together. Started going back to that same gym. And before our first wedding in February, and we were in there on the treadmill or something. And I looked down, and there was this dude down there that used to go to the gym when I had gone years previously. So he obviously is in shape, healthy, and he's committed to doing that. He's committed to sticking with what he's doing and building his body and building those muscles and strong. He didn't look sick to me. So what I'm saying is healthy people even exercise their mental to keep it healthy.
Exactly.
To keep it healthy. Benny says, thank you so much for your words. Yes, she knows, and we're trying to work things out. Wonderful.
Hey, Dr. D.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Happy anniversary.
If you can work it out, and that's a decision for the two of you all. That's for y'all to decide on. Girlfriends will have their thoughts and opinions. Moms, sisters, brothers, people will have their thoughts and opinions, but y'all have to decide, Benny, the two of you, what's right for y'all.
And One Life asked the question, and guys, we start with a concept, but if you guys ask questions, we want to answer your questions.
We'll come back and honestly, usually it ties in.
Yeah.
It tends to tie in. So One Life said,
I wanted to ask a question. Do you think Black women in America have lost their way when it comes to marriage and commitment? That's a whole big old question. A very, very big question. And can I start?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So again, with our 80-20 rule of marriage, to understand that question, as Black men, we have to understand the culture that we're in. There are a lot of ideas of culture, and I don't want to make it a racial issue, but it is a racial issue.
Mm-hmm.
The Black family unit has a different battle that they have to deal with. We can look at a picture of 1960 and show a Black family, and then there's the picture of today's Black family. Yeah, it's usually a single mother with some children and a wayward father. Back in the day, that wasn't the case. But what we would forget is that coming in through the 60s, women's liberation and more equal opportunity and economics of Reaganomics, especially, where a black woman fulfilled the need of gender quotas as well as racial quotas. So the black woman was promoted to go to college. The black woman was promoted in position to work for a company faster than the black man. And because they were elevated to a certain degree, because they put a glass ceiling on the black woman who went into the corporate world, the black woman started outpacing the black man college wise and started outpacing the black man monetarily and job opportunity wise, which did create a fracture. Now, another of the small things, remember, it's a whole bunch of stuff we can point to, but it's a couple of small things that we got to look at. The other thing is that in the middle income to lower income, to help a black family elevate themselves, the welfare laws changed to where the black woman who was trying to get government assistance was told that if you put a man in that household,
they're going to take away the assistance.
We're going to take away the assistance. So the black man is now fractured again. Now, as we look at just those two things, created an environment where the black woman was either exceeding the black man, but is still expected to look at the roles, the gender roles that America says is the gender roles, that the man is supposed to be the primary provider, and that the man is supposed to make sure, the man is supposed to be the primary provider. And then on the lower income level, kick the man out if you want to have this money to feed your children. You can't blame the women for either case. It's the hand that they was dealt. But what we did lose with black men and black women is the idea of that black family structure is a leadership based on who you are in the marriage, right? How you're supposed to look at it. It shouldn't matter that the black man doesn't make as much money as the black woman. That ain't his job anyway. We like to say that he's supposed to be a great provider. What is he providing? Right. We just look at it from
money.
But the provision is leadership. This is the actual thing that we've lost that we got to recapture.
Yep.
The black man's primary thing to provide is not money, but leadership in the household. I met a brother this past week. He said he sometimes feels ashamed that he was a stay-at-home father. And I was like, well, why were you a stay-at-home father? Well, my wife became an OB. She's a doctor. So she had greater financial opportunities than I did as a basketball coach. He raised the kids, them boys. And I said, well, let me ask you a question. Does your wife respect you? He's like, yes. Does she follow your leadership in the house? He was like, yes. I said, then why hang your head low? You are leading your family. You have led your family in the way you should. What are your sons on drugs? No. Are your sons having babies out of wedlock? No. Are your sons just laying around doing nothing? He was like, no, they graduated college. They got good jobs and whatever. I was like, so you succeeded in raising men. Yes. Then you did what you were supposed to be, which is be a leader. We have put the black man's leadership to only be providing. And for our sisters, we have to recognize that your man's his leadership is what you need. His job is to protect through his leadership. So if you make more money, protect the income. Be able to say, all right, you make more money. These are the wiser investments we should be making in order for us to build this family financially. These are the relationship strides we should be taking in order to build this family emotionally. That's what's missing. So where we are now, and we can't go back and change the past.
Right.
So black men, what we have to recognize is that you have to become leaders. Yep. You have to, and it's interestingly enough, and I forgot to tell you this, like there's a guy, he's 61 years old, and he wants me to coach him in leadership. 61, recognizing that he hasn't had that leadership development. That's what we have to have. We got to understand how to lead our families, how to lead a black woman who makes more money, and lead her into understanding that, sweetheart, the money don't make you.
Right.
Your job title don't make you. Your degree said that you learn how to memorize some information and pass it on a test. That don't make you who you are. Your character is what makes you who you are. So based on that, let's develop our character so that we can become greater versions of family structures. So has the black woman lost her way in America? The black man and the black woman have lost their way in America because we have fallen for the okie doke of political and economical things that were put in place to break up the black family. And it is up to the black man to reestablish his leadership in the family so that the black family unit can be rebuilt. Now, if the black woman that you're dealing with don't want to move in that direction, let her go find somebody else to do whatever she want to do. I guarantee she'll be hopscotching over a whole bunch of black people, or she'll do the thing. Oh, a white man treats me better for some reason, or she can just dominate some dude. It'll be something, but you can't worry about everybody. Everybody ain't gonna gain this understanding. Everybody ain't gonna get it. So go find the black woman that is willing to understand that leadership has nothing to do with how much money you make, where you came from, how many degrees you have. That ain't got nothing to do with it.
Right. And a lot of women that can do it on their own and for themselves, not a lot, some have that thought process that I really don't need you. But again, if you think financially is where you need him, then you have it twisted. It's the wrong thought process. It's the wrong Clint's so stupid. It's the wrong process. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, which way I'm saying. It's the wrong process of thought.
You know what I mean?
The money, right. The money will not sustain the emotional. It will not. It will not sustain the emotional. So the respect is definitely
they just be miserable in a real nice place.
Right. Miserable sleeping in 2 different rooms, miserable traveling, miserable doing all kind of things, miserable paying bills, miserable.
Right, because what you really want is that person that when you roll over in the morning, you look and say, and you're like, I'm waking up next to somebody that's, oh my gosh, I'm so thrilled. Like I can't imagine waking up next to anybody else.
Well, one life, I don't understand why some black women don't know that naturally by now. How would they know it naturally?
Let me put it in the context of when I was a personal trainer. One of the first things I would tell people is, look, who you are naturally is only 25% of who you are. 75% comes from your environment. Comes from everything around you. You know, you could be a person who was small naturally, but because you grew up in a family where they say clean your plate, you eat everything on your plate, or you grew up in a family that ate a bunch of processed foods, or you grew up in a family that sat and watched 8 hours, 6-8 hours of television, you're gonna be fat, right? Because your environment generates that. You grew up when if a little girl is growing up in a household with a black woman who says, I don't need a man, I don't need a man.
That's right.
And she got a grandmother that says, I don't need a man. She got aunts and
that's all she ever saw.
I don't need a man.
She didn't see daddy. She didn't see uncles. Right. She didn't see grandfather.
And they're told, go get yours, girl, because you can't trust in no man. If she grows up in that environment, she's not going to know.
Yeah. So there is no naturally when it comes to that.
She wouldn't know.
It's processed.
Let me tell you, I met a little girl. They came into my store, right? I think I told you about this. And I've actually mentioned on another video. Her parents went to HBCUs. They have told this little girl so much so that she can only marry a man who went to an HBCU, that when there was a young man who was trying to talk to her, who went to Harvard, she said no, because I'm not marrying a man who hasn't been to an HBCU, don't have the HBCU experience. And I was like, but if this young man treats you better than anybody else,
why should that matter?
Because he went to Harvard instead of an HBCU. But that was so ingrained in that little girl's head that there was nothing that could be said.
Yeah.
Right. And guess what? She was single.
She was what?
She was straight single. Gotta say it like in the country vote. She was single. Single.
That made Retta coming out.
She ain't had a good relationship because she was single. Not that black men at HBCUs can't be good men. They can be. Right. I'm just saying. She ain't met one yet. So, and that was 4 years ago. She probably still single.
The 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
The 80-20 rule. That 20. Know what that 20 is.
Oh, they're saying that because we have so much information nowadays. But here's the thing about information. like I said about a college degree. I know a whole bunch of people with college degrees, and they stupid. They ain't got no common sense. They have no wisdom behind it. They have no one. They lack understanding.
Yep.
And because they lack understanding, they have a misuse of the power that their knowledge gave them, which makes it that they don't act wisely. They have no wisdom about what they're doing, right? So information is great, but you can still be an ignorant joker with a bunch of information.
In your life experience, you can read something. It sounds good, it looks good, and that's how it should be. But your own experience does not dictate what the information is saying.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not always that cut and dry and that easy.
Yeah, you have scholars. You have people who and I talked about this in the video too. A bachelor's degree said you memorize what the doctrine already is, whatever everybody they agree on. A master said that you question it a little bit. A PhD says in order to get a PhD, you have to totally question everything that they taught you to get the bachelor's, right? But even at the PhD level, there are people who disagree on both sides of the same issue.
Same issue.
So information great, but we really have to, we got that mind-heart connection and instinction, this mind-heart-spirit connection. Without that, we losing it. We losing it. Because if a woman or a man, when a woman or a man act, they have the knowledge, and this is a preview actually of what my meditations for this week. Have the knowledge, gain an understanding of it, and apply that understanding and wisdom, and it gives them power. But if there is no love involved prior to the actions of that understanding, then it can create a negative environment.
Mm-hmm.
So before when couples are looking at each other, and if you're not looking at your spouse or looking at who you're dating, courting, and you're saying, if there's that ego of the man got to be this and or the woman got to be that, there's no love in your understanding. And so your actions are going to lead you in a negative environment. Because again, 80-20 rule. A black woman who's a doctor, if she don't know, well, if her mindset is, well, my 20% is that he needs to be making more money than me, or he can't be with me. Is that really what she wants? Or does she want a companion? Or does she want a person that understands her weakness and can build her and stand in her and be her strength? Does she need somebody who recognizes that she made love experiences and want to see the world? Well, is he that guy? He can make more money than her, but is he a workaholic? Does he someone who does he not like to do things or be a person that she can enjoy? So what's her real 20%? Is it the money or is it not? Mm-hmm. Because she's making enough money, but she's a bad money manager, and he's making more money, and he's a bad money manager. Does it really matter? Does it really matter at that point? It doesn't. So what's her 20%? That's what she really has to understand and get to a knowledge of. And just like a man, we got to do that too. Mm-hmm. Like I told that gentleman, I said, was it more important that you support your wife in her endeavors and that benefited the family greater? Or was it more important for your ego to be the breadwinner? I said, and he was like, no, it's more important to take care of my family, raise the boys. I said, exactly. So if that was the case, stick there, bro. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about what other men say. Right. Because you don't sleep with them. They don't pay your bills. They don't feed you. They don't do any of those things. So to hell with them, basically. And when you're dealing with a woman in one life, if she can't get into her true 20 of what she truly needs and desires to have in her life, and then move on. Right. Because y'all ain't gonna fit. Right. It ain't gonna work. I don't care how black she is. She can be blacker than black. I'm blacker than black. It ain't gonna matter. She can be, Angela Davis, fist in the air. It won't matter. Another question. What about sex? Compromising in the sex life. What do you mean by that?
Beautiful being.
Beautiful being. You know what? My YouTube is on point because my YouTube asks some questions. Y'all jokers all over here
Y'all
ain't asking no
y'all
questions.
quiet.
Nothing.
So, beautiful being. So we have.
Sex, baby.
Let's talk about sex.
Well, you
So
said- they said what about sex?
yeah, I got it.
Let me check.
So we have about how many videos?
11,
We have 11 videos.
about 12, 15.
And that question is actually the subject of one of our videos. So we can give a quick little synopsis of your question.
That's right.
But if you go to Tag Team Marriage on YouTube,
I'm
you
feeling
can-
on, I'm feeling on my baby
don't
right
get
now.
you started. So if you go to Tag Team Marriage on YouTube, that we would love for everyone to come over to, so we can not have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 devices going. Then, but you can go to Tag Team Marriage on YouTube, look our page up, and find the video that talks about that. But what about in sex?
Compromising
Well,
in sex
yeah, I got it. Compromising in sex life.
Still follow the 80-20 rule.
It does. It still follows the 80-20. It still follows the 80-20.
Yeah.
So compromising in your sex life. So we have this thing about compromise.
That's right. No such thing.
No such thing as compromising. We don't compromise.
Yep.
Wait, let them meditate. Let them marinate. Let that marinate. I said meditate. You said meditate so much.
Gotta meditate on
That's
that.
in my head. That's in my head. Let that marinate for a minute.
On my bowl.
We we don't compromise.
Nope.
Give me a sec. Okay. All right. Great. So this is the thing about compromising. When you compromise, you tend to give something up, but you don't necessarily give that thing up because you want to. You give that thing up usually with a or I give in or whatever you want. Okay. The thing that we've learned is that we both need to be happy and satisfied within this marriage. We don't believe the happy wife, happy life concept.
No.
It's happy spouse, happy house. Because if he's not happy, then those points of what Benny was dealing with, for whatever reason, of infidelity creep in. And it can creep in on both sides. And if she's not happy, then her focus can be somewhere else. So if I truly want to be a part of this man's life, and I said, I will marry you, I do at the altar, there are some things that I need to refocus, not giving up of myself, but there's some things I may need to refocus for his purpose and for him. Because why am I here in the marriage?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you here in your marriage? Why are you thinking about going into a marriage? Why are you thinking about having this relationship, taking it to the next level, getting on one knee? Or, oh, I hope he asked me to marry him. Why? Because if you're not ready to give up on some things, it's gonna be a tough road. It's already a tough road, but now we've added.
Right.
Oh, I don't want to do this, and I don't want to do that. Give your compromising. You kind of lay it out a little bit.
I mean, it's my baby said it pretty good. Very well, I should say. It's if when you compromise, both sides lose, right? Both y'all losing. Nobody's really happy. So what you really have to do is say,
Yep,
which direction we gonna go in, right? So since you said sex, right? Let's talk about it. We've talked about oral sex a bunch of times, right? So, and the thing about it is it if you compromise, it could be, let's say one person don't like it at all and the other person loves it, all right? A compromise would be, well, we're gonna do it sometimes. Well, the person who loves it is gonna always desire more of it. The person who don't love it, who hates it,
69, they're going get it.
They're going to dread it every time they do it.
Right.
It will constantly be an issue, right? So what you have to figure out is which direction you're going to go, and the direction both people are going to have to find a way to be great with that. So if you decide you ain't gonna do it, okay, we're gonna go with the she hated, we ain't doing it. So you got to figure out, okay, if I can't, since we're not gonna have oral, then what is it that can give me that happiness without that? Right. And then that is going to have to go, that's going to have to happen. That replacement has to be there. So, I got it. So let's say oral ain't it. So she ain't gonna do oral. But the thing that will replace it will be dominatrix. There's a whole inside joke about that.
Yeah,
it's gonna be dominatrix, right? What up, Adam? So, I got Maria's is on here and Adam is on here.
She said, "What? What?" As a question, what?
Dominatrix is the replacement, right? So, and then if she's still like, no, I ain't doing that either. All right, so she that ain't gonna work. Y'all might well just break up. But she has to be able to say, okay, I'm gonna give you since you gave me oral sex, say that we ain't gotta do that. I'm going to give you dominatrix. We're gonna have to have our guidelines. Gotta have that safety word. There's certain limitations that we're gonna go to. No bloodletting.
Whatever it is, whatever dominatrix.
No, but it's a good one. So, but the inside joke is working here.
It's fun. Yeah, it is. It's fun trying to figure that out. That's a part of that. So you can you can take the compromising out of it and say, okay, the compromise. So like you said, if I don't enjoy giving oral, but okay, babe, I really don't. That's not really my thing. But what else can we try? Like, what else can we do that we both might enjoy? Because if you compromise, and we're gonna just speak on this side, the female to the male. If you compromise and give that brother head, and that's what he likes, and then he wants it again, and you compromised and you gave him head, that's what he likes. He wants you to do it again. Now this time, I really don't want to do that. I only did it because he wanted it, but I'm not enjoying it. Now it's okay. Now let me decide when I'm gonna give him head, because now I got to do it. I really don't like doing it.
Sure.
So it's a chore. You're both not enjoying one another. He get what he want. He up there smiling, and you down there like.
And really, he ain't gonna get what he wants because you ain't gonna do it right. It ain't gonna be done right.
Just do it all sloppy, so he gonna ask for it no more.
And then he's gonna be mad.
Right. So you don't want to do that because that just adds extra layers of.
And you want to find, like, if you the one that goes to the one side, you want to find a way to enjoy it.
She said you better find different flavors.
You gotta find a way to enjoy it. You gotta find a way to say that, you know what? I'm gonna find my happiness in this thing, whatever it is. I'm gonna find my happiness in it. I'm gonna find what I can enjoy about it so that I want it just as much as they do. And in that way, we can have some happiness in that. Now, just got another question. See, my YouTube is still hitting it. Y'all jokers boring. One Life said, honestly, what do y'all fear the most in your marriage? Ooh. This is an 80-20 thing too, because people can rattle off a bunch of stuff. I fear infidelity. I fear this. I fear that. I feel lack of money. I feel.
Let me tell you what I fear.
But let
me answer the question.
Yeah, there's like a.
Ew.
Goodbye. Stop interrupting my video, little boy.
My nephew. I'm gonna tell you what I fear in this marriage. I fear not having it.
Not having the marriage.
Yep. I fear not having it, which means in my mind, I want to do everything I can to make sure I keep it. That does not mean disrespecting myself, giving up my self-worth, giving up those things, but it's answering that question, why am I here? And I don't always think about it in that way. But when you stop and think about it, because there are times where I just want to, I don't care what he say. I don't care what he think. I don't care. But when I really sit back and think about it, it's like these past few, like you were saying, we've been at an impasse with things. And it's my frustrations and his frustrations. And and whatever. But in the midst of being angry with him, like I'm a yeller. In the yell. He don't like it. He's not a yeller. He's like this, and I'm like this. So in the process,
Mastery over my emotions.
I will say something. I will say something, or I will yell at him and fuss at him about something. And I leave out of the room, go somewhere else or whatever, walk out the shop, whatever. In the back of my mind and in my heart and in my head, I'm like, I have got to figure out how to fix this. Or I've got to figure out how to communicate to him what he did make me feel the way I feel. You do nothing. I had to take a long eye roll on that one. So, but that is my fear. And in the process of having that fear, we don't want fear. Like, we don't want to do anything. If something scares you, you're not gonna deal with it. Like, we don't like clowns. Like, I don't put a clown mask up. Don't come my way. Don't play. Don't send me a picture of a clown.
I'll fight you.
Man. So I'm not gonna watch the movie It. Like, I'm not gonna do that. Because I fear that. I fear those things. And we don't like to be in a position where we fear that. We anything that we fear. So if I have a fear, because that was a question, right? If I fear something, I'm going to try to steer and stay away from it. So my deeper thought on that, and thank you for the question, because, my deeper thought on that is, if I fear losing you, then what do I need to do to make sure that I don't? No, kiss me. What's your fear?
You better give me some sugar.
Really?
Yep.
Why? What's your fear?
Fear. I don't have any.
You don't have any?
Nope.
Honestly, what do y'all fear the most in your marriage?
Okay, so I personally, I don't have a fear for me.
99. 99. Yep.
So I don't have a fear for me in our relationship. So
yep. Yep.
Okay, so I can't deal in fear. I can't deal in fear. Like, that's base chakra level things for me. And like, I've spent too many years getting rid of fears, right, and not living by them, and so that I don't ever live by fear. That doesn't mean that I don't have thoughts in my head of what could happen in a relationship if things aren't taken care of.
You won't define it as a fear.
But it's not defined as a fear for me because I don't have fear anxiety concerning them. So whatever. So my thing is what I know. So I practice a thing called premeditatio malorum, which is, let me think of what could go wrong today, but not focus on what's going wrong. But if these other things can go wrong today, how do I make sure that they don't happen? What environment I can put in place, right? So I'll think in the morning, what could go wrong with my baby is she can feel that she's not secure in our relationship today. Well, what can I do to make her feel secure in our relationship today? And this is going to go to what Ron Clark just asked a little bit. And I say, what is my wife's love languages? All right. I know her top love languages is gifts as well as words of affirmation. So I can't give a gift every day, but I can every day give her words of affirmation. I can every day make sure she understands and she knows how I feel about her, how much I appreciate her. So I can do that every day. So I think about that every day, all day. Now, I also think about, I do have a budget in my mind for gifts. How can I, give gifts in a timely manner so that she gets gifts? And now, mind you, for me, gifts is on the bottom, which is my biggest struggle then. So, and I don't want to give gifts because it's just a mental checkbox to keep her quiet. I want it to truly come from me, right? Mm-hmm. So how do I work on that, right? And so that's what I think. So it's not a fear as much as I just make sure things don't go left. as much as I possibly can. Now, here's the hard part. If all it required was me, then everything would go right all the time. But it's two people. When you involve two people, you can do what you think is working right, but they don't receive it that way.
Right.
Which is why communication is incredibly important.
Yeah.
So I also think, how can I not miscommunicate with my wife today? Which is like, traversing that with,
Hey,
this,
Leia.
with this one. Oh, Leia's on here.
Leia's on here.
Oh, traversing, communicating with my wife without it going off the deep end.
Challenge.
It's a challenge like trying to hit the moonshot back in the 1960s.
Wow.
It is. It's a challenge. It's serious. It's a labyrinth, y'all.
Okay.
It's a labyrinth. Because we come from so many different perspectives, we have so many things that, I was thinking about something today. I was going to talk to you about it, but I will talk about it right now. Mm-hmm. Y'all know that we were friends for like 8 years before we got married, right? So y'all,
Naughty Daddy, I think I know what you're talking about. Once a year.
I know one that's wrong.
What we talking about, Naughty Daddy?
I know what she's talking about. And Ron Clark said, did we ever seek outside help? Earlier in this video, we talked about how it is vital.
We're both in counseling.
Outside. We both go to counseling. It is vital. Outside help is vital. It's just like in business. Having a business coach is vital. Mm-hmm. Without a business coach, a lot of people fail, right? But I was going to say, so we were friends for 8 years before we got married, right? 7 years before we started dating, hit the 8 year before by the time we got married. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. This is what I was thinking about when you was talking earlier, right? When you meet somebody and y'all become friends first, you think that that's the best environment for you to move into a romantic relationship. Right. It ain't.
What's better than to marry your best friend?
It's not.
Whatever.
It ain't. It's better for you to meet somebody, be romantically inclined with them, and then y'all become best friends. And let me give you one easy example. Me and this one right here. Right now, she's this one on this example. Me and this one right here. She used to come into my shop. We used to debate all the time. We have these debates, long, drawn-out debates over relationships and marriage and spirituality, long, drawn-out debates. But she was my friend. So what did that mean? That meant that I had no emotional attachment to our debates, right? And she had no emotional attachment to our debates. It's different. That's different how y'all did that, hush.
Right.
So for years we debated and there was no emotional attachment to our debates, no aftermath of emotions, none of that stuff.
Yeah, so I leave the shop, go my way.
And I didn't care how she thought. At the end of the day, I thought how I thought. Right. Here's the thing that we didn't think about. We have maturity now to think through these things, but we didn't think about this then and when we first got together. One of her issues that she has with me is that she is like, I thought this brother was thick-skinned, right? She thought I was very thick-skinned. Here's the thing. To all of y'all, I am very thick-skinned. Y'all can say whatever y'all want. I don't give two rat's asses about what y'all think about me, your opinions, whatever. Because we're not in a romantic relationship where your opinion actually moves my life. But once you get into a romantic relationship, now if you're upset, that bothers me. Now, if we get into a debate and there's no conclusion of unity, it bothers me, right? So I become thin-skinned with her because there's an emotional attachment now. But when we were friends, no emotional attachment. Mm-hmm. It's whatever, dude. Gone somewhere. Mm-hmm. You dog out my past. I don't care. You don't mean that much anyway, right? So, thought about that today when y'all was talking. That makes a huge difference. Now, if you not to say that you can't marry your best friend, you can,
right?
But you have to know that you're going to go through this process of changing over to an emotional attachment to things that didn't have one at first,
right? And things that they didn't even know were necessary for you,
right?
Things that they didn't even know.
And all of that stuff still fits into an 80-20 kind of 80-20 situation. Yep. When you convert over, here's what really has to happen. once you get into the relationship, you kind of gotta restart and renew and create a new friendship.
Right.
A friendship that is based on emotional attachment as well as every other attachment that you have. Because without our emotional attachment, it didn't matter. We can hang out, we can talk about each other, we can talk about each other, people who she dated, who I dated. We can talk about them. It didn't matter. But talk about it now.
I used to talk about them.
Yeah, right. But talk about it now, and then it's offensive because like it ain't because you're offended about the other person. It's offended by I chose the other person. I'm offended that you dogging out my choices. I can dog them out, but you can't.
No, I didn't talk about these ladies bad.
Right.
I didn't
Yes,
know
she
them.
did.
No,
Yes,
I didn't. I didn't. I didn't dog them out.
She just told me they wasn't gonna make it.
I did. Yeah, I didn't know them. I didn't know the insides of what their relationships were. But I used to be like, "No, she ain't gonna make it. That's not the one." And that's not because I wanted to be the one. That's just because it just some things. Wait, another language. What? Do you have boundaries put in place in dealing with the opposite sex?
Oh, and my love language is physical touch and acts of service.
Do you have boundaries put in place in dealing with the opposite sex? I'm gonna answer that for myself. I can only, hey Gail, I can only answer that for myself, and then he can answer for himself. And then we can collectively come together on our answers and the decisions we made based on our answers.
Oh.
So, boundaries put in place dealing with the opposite sex. I don't deal with the opposite sex because I'm a woman. I used to be single, and I know what direction the opposite sex would come at me. Now, every dude that I talked to or whatever, did not want me in a sexual manner or whatever. But in our family, there are 3 girls. My sister, my 2 sisters. Well, let me start with before the other one came along. So there were 2 girls. Everyone else, all the other were males. Brothers, cousins, we were surrounded by a lot of males. Something my brothers told me. Men, guys, boys, usually their mindset, the different things that they look for, comes from a level of testosterone. Come from a level of, okay, as when we were younger, feeling themselves and starting to get feelings, sexual feelings and things like that. So I was told, you be careful of how you deal with guys because they can, in some ways, misconstrue, misunderstand, or just kind of go with what they want in their minds and their heads and go that direction. So, of course, ladies, we're all taught early on, we don't do certain things, we don't say certain things, we don't have relationships. So, long story short, I don't put myself in a position. I don't put myself in a position. I don't feel like where another man should get my time or attention. Do I have male friends? Of course. Do I deal with my male friends the way I used to? No, I don't. Because I feel that what's needed in that aspect, I'm there for him. I'm not there for them in that way. I don't believe in putting out emotional ties that you can't do anything with. You cannot do anything with. Do I give advice or should I or whatever? Me personally, I don't. I don't. Because I don't need you coming to me, especially if you're asking me about your girl or your wife or what you should do. You have to talk to her. Because I feel like it's a disrespect for you to come to me to ask me what she should be feeling, thinking. I mean, and there are different spectrums to it. There are different levels and different parts of it. Doesn't have to always be that way. But for me, as a woman, and knowing what I dealt with as a single woman, I don't see people's minds just flipping because now I'm married. So I don't put myself or them in a situation where I have to tell them, nah, bruh, I don't. That's me.
So for me, now let me preface this by saying,
And my phone's about to die too.
Yep, we lost
Oh wow.
the Facebook page. There we are.
That's tag team?
Yep. So for me,
nobody's here.
Boundaries. Got one person. Open up another window.
Okay.
Another window.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So for me, boundaries. Of course, there are some boundaries that you have. Mine is a lot more relaxed, simply because of the nature of the person that I am. There is a reason why.
Sorry.
There is a reason why I am Coach Ren on YouTube and on Facebook to a certain degree, because I have always been that person. Male and female, and that's just how my life has always been. My boundaries go as far as you respect my boundaries. Let me give you an example. Most of my friends were female, right? And I don't have a lot of friends at that, but most of them were females. Most of them I dealt with were female. And yeah. And the thing about it is, because most of them were female friends, they had to understand that I started dating someone. The ones who were truly my friends, they would understand that once I started dating someone, you can't get my time the same way that you did before.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Right. You still have to. She is throwing me out, y'all.
Sorry.
They had to understand that I cannot be the same person with you all the time. Right? If we used to hang out, and we can't hang out like we used to. And now hanging out with me may also mean hanging out with my wife. You being respectful to me means you being respectful to my wife. And if you can't deal with that, you gotta go. I'm more apt to give you enough rope. Yeah, this is loud. I'm more apt to give a person enough rope that they either become a cowgirl or cowboy or hang themselves, one or two. I'm gonna set down the parameters, and then you follow them. Now, everything else is basically just how my life goes, so to speak. The work that I do, I'm dealing with a bunch of people. 1,000 people a week. I'm dealing with. They come in. The regulars, I get to know. People come to the store, they on the couch. Like I said, the dude who was telling me about his situation, I don't know him. This is on the second time I talked to this man.
I'm sorry. Can I go back and forth?
You should be able to. Yeah, they're both filming.
Okay.
Amazingly enough, but the dude, I don't know him, but he just felt there's a comfort that he had, and we just had a conversation. And it's not just guys; there are women who have that comfort. Now, I am aware that people can misconstrue stuff, and in Atlanta, it ain't all just men. I mean, women. I've had dudes who come in and they misunderstand my niceness, misunderstand my attentiveness and listen. Like, I'll listen to you. They misunderstand me listening to them and they take it the wrong way. I literally remember I told you the guy I was training this guy who was gay. And I had to ask him, dude, why these gay dudes keep on trying to talk to me? I don't get it. And he told me the area that I was in, but he also told me, you listen to people. And because you listen to people, sometimes people are going to misconstrue that. So the boundary for me is, as long as you're respectful, I don't have any problems with you, with talking to people, with dealing with people, coming to me with their issues, because that's part of what I love to do, right? Where I have a problem is that when you overstep your boundaries and you don't respect my wife, the thing is, you got to go, right? And we've had some struggles with that, because my baby is extreme left, I'm extreme right. And in the process, I've had to let some people go and change how I do some things. But we've seen, and this is one of the issues that we've been dealing with over the last few months, we've seen where me keep doing that is not making our relationship better, right? It's actually making it worse because you don't get to be yourself, because you got to be able to be yourself, right? And this is where the 80-20 rule comes into play, is that it ain't about those people. It's the real issue is trust. And then the real trust issue is, why is there mistrust? What has happened in her past that creates a natural mistrust? And then how can I help her to understand that I know this happened? You can't say, and I've said it, which was wrong. I ain't them. I ain't created, I ain't them. But we have to go back. We have to realize and say, okay, honey, I understand. These people created an environment where you don't trust. You don't trust. But I'm going to do what I can to secure you in this relationship. But you also have to take those opportunities to show trust, so that both of us are getting what we want. You're getting the security of knowing that you got a man who is not going to, no matter what woman, I don't care who she is, what she looks like. Look, my baby understands this. Any of y'all can walk in here butt booty naked. It don't matter. I don't care nothing about y'all. When I was a trainer, I had a client walk downstairs butt booty naked. All I saw was my possibility of my $1,200 a month check going away if I'd spurned her the wrong way. That's all I saw. All right. Shirley Ralph can walk into this butt booty naked.
You got specific.
For a split second. Now, my wife know me. Now, for a split second, I'm like, but then, this is my baby. Shirley, I'm a cusser. Get out. You can no longer be, the only starstruck person that can exist. You messed it up. I'd be like, you messed it up, Shirley. I admired you from afar.
She missed a chance.
You messed it up. You lost the star. I am not starstruck for nobody else. It's the only person. And I've even met her already. It's the only person. But she would have messed it up because it's my baby. Right? But anybody else can walk in. I have to make sure, we have to both work together to make sure that she has had enough opportunities and to demonstrate that she can trust me. Because remember the movie? What was it? They made the second version of it. It was when God gave his power. Morgan Freeman was God. He gave his powers to that stupid guy that I keep imitating, and he was God for a while. He had God's power. But Jim Carrey. But the second one was when he had the guy build the ark, right? Mm-hmm. And the wife was like, I pray to God for patience all the time. And then Morgan Freeman was like, God won't just give you patience, but give you opportunities to be patient. You remember that line? Mm-hmm. Okay, that line was like huge for me back then, because it was one of those things that helped me to receive even more so that you get opportunities to be trustworthy, and you get opportunities to give trust, to work over your issues. So the boundaries that we have to work to a point of saying, and it's not a compromise. We have to work to a point where I get to be me, because if I'm not me, then who she loving?
Right.
So that's why it can't be a compromise. But there are traumas that created the mistrust. Well, you're not really being you. You being you that somebody else created in you. Mm-hmm. So you being a you that somebody else controlled. So let's get to your real you, where you can trust your husband. Where if me and my brother, when me and my brother take a road trip on our bikes, that my baby got from me. When we take a road trip, mm-hmm. She doesn't have to say, where you at? Where y'all? Well, you want to know what I'm saying. But where you at? Who else is there? Who serves you some lunch? I'm being extreme here, but just have a whole bunch of anxiety. She won't be sitting at home having a bunch of anxiety, are they eating lunch and some woman trying to talk to her, but have that security to know that even if we having lunch and some woman trying to talk to him, that he gonna be like, lady, do you not understand who's at home? Do you not understand who I'm married to? You need to go. Woman, please remove yourself. To have that level of confidence is what we have to bring about. And what is the best material gift y'all gave each other? Well, I just told you. My baby bought me a
A
motorcycle.
Gold Wing,
My baby gave
Honda
me.
Gold Wing. I bought him a Honda Gold Wing
Yep.
for his birthday,
So we did.
for Christmas,
Bro,
for anniversary, for birthday
you
again,
see how she messing it up?
for Hanukkah, for Halloween, for Easter, for St. Patrick's Day, for Valentine's Day. That thing is nice.
Anyway,
That's gonna hold him for about 10 years.
no, it's not. Anyway, whatever.
Miss Dana, you hear this?
Anyway,
She was. I don't know if they left or not. My
Anywho.
baby, like, hey sis.
Anyway, so
But the 80-20. 80-20.
yeah, and I'm not a big gift guy. So, my baby, she's done stuff for me gift wise, and it's like I appreciate it. But that's a whole new level of thing, not because of how much it costs or like that didn't have nothing to do with it for me. It's an experience. It's an experience. Like riding a motorcycle is all about the experience for me. Like I love the experience of it. And a goal reading is now the experience of freedom to ride for 5, 6, 8, 10 hours. It's a whole experience thing for me.
Yeah, I don't want to go with y'all.
And the fact that she recognized that me selling my previous bike in order to open up the store and take care of some household stuff was more about my family. So I gave up that freedom of that experience. Not so it wasn't about the bike, it's about the experience. That is what meant so much to me as far as her recognizing that and getting that goal wing for me. As far as the biggest gift, the best material gift that for her.
Let's see if you get it.
Who?
You.
She ain't received it yet. Only because
he said that we gave.
Well, see, February 20th hasn't come.
Oh.
He
said gave.
Okay, I'm gonna say this.
What you gave
this right here. Because my baby loves Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid is like her thing. This is the Disney Little Mermaid ring.
It's the Ariel edition. Is I don't know if you didn't really see it. But yeah. Oh, duh. Yeah. So even though, of course, you do an engagement ring, of course, that's what you do.
And I love that the stone Tanzania, which is a place that you might have to move
to. So the engagement ring, I don't know if it will be categorized as a gift, but no, let me finish.
Okay.
I mean, they probably said, well, you asked to marry, you need an engagement ring. Yeah. But because it is the Ariel, it's the Disney Ariel ring, that definitely says that is the best. I mean, that's the best that I've gotten. Because every day I look at this ring, 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to run into anybody that has this ring. And even if I did, it doesn't mean to them what it means to me. Because if anybody knows me, truly knows me, you will know the depth of the Little Mermaid in my life.
Mm-hmm. And even if they had that, this, they're not going to have the addition,
right? We had the additional pieces, the bands. They're bands on both sides. That what's the word they put them together?
Soldered them together.
Right. So the bands that he added when we got married, and
that's not part of the normal.
Right. It wasn't a part of it. He put this together this way.
Right.
So yeah, gorgeous. I love it.
Right.
Respect for Trinidad and Tobago. I said from.
Okay. That's what's up, Shimon.
All right.
Trinidad and Tobago. Coach, what does it look like when she deeply cares about something?
Get him, Ron.
I know, Ron. Why are you throwing that stuff at me like that?
Ron, own it.
You acting like I know her.
Ron, own it. I bet you can answer.
I don't know. To be honest, because okay, and here's
I guarantee you can answer. Think about it. He popped up on you with that one. But go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Because okay, so it kind of differs depending upon what it is, right? I mean, she'll smile.
Trinidad.
She'll smile. She'll talk about it 50, 1100 times. Here's one thing I do know. If something means a lot to her, she don't know that sometimes I overhear her conversations because she loud. She'll talk about it to other people. Yeah, because you'll be telling Claudette, or you'll be telling Charisma. She'll be talking about it to other people. So I know it meant a lot to her when she's, espousing how amazingly wonderful it is that. Or she looks for something over and over again. Like if it's something that she doesn't have. Like my baby loves sneakers. And I don't know why she keeps sending me these Instagram pictures of these sneakers.
Of these bread 11s and 13s?
These $200 sneakers.
Ooh.
I mean, I don't mind spending $200 on some sneakers, but just not right now. I ain't got $200 of I'm that person where if I spend $200 on some sneakers, that meant I could have bought some $800 sneakers. You understand what I'm saying? If you understand what that means. Like I gotta make so much in order for me to spend a luxury on that. But I know she loves sneakers because she looks them up all the time. She's into them. She takes care of them like nobody's business. She got some sneakers that are like 10 years old that look like they brand new. How she takes care of something, that's the true answer. How she takes care of something lets me know how much it really means to her. Like, so how she takes care of me lets me know how much it means to me.
I knew he would get it right. Good question.
But it's the thing. 80-20 though. 80-20.
Mm-hmm.
That's her way.
Mm-hmm.
She does it in her way. And like one of the things that I had asked her was, I need you to write down your 20. Because it doesn't matter what my way. I'm very affectionate. I'm an affectionate person. So me touching on her all the time.
All the time.
Showing, like I've been rubbing on her this whole time, especially on my booty. Me touching her is how I receive. You give me affection that I'm woof.
Right.
We love you.
So I had to learn like this right here.
Yeah.
This right here. Like
that stuff means a lot.
If we're riding in the car, if I do this.
What are you talking about? That's what means something. See how high pitched voice go up?
I learned that.
Right.
I learned that.
So we really have to.
So my phone is going to die in a second. So if you're on my Facebook page, go over to YouTube on Tag Team Marriage, and you can pick it up because it's going to die.
Like if you see, I'm that way with my children, all my children, bonus kids and all. I'm that way. It's some kind of touch that has to happen. Me and Caden, we got this little hand slap dap thing.
Caden is my nephew, our nephew.
It's a hand slap dap. With my daughter Simone, me and Sydney is a hug. With Simone, it's a kiss on the cheek. With Lincoln, it's a pound and a hug. There's always some physical touch with me, right? That's how I demonstrate. So we have to demonstrate it in a way, but we do have to learn to desire to demonstrate it in the way that our partner receives it. So, like, I know she cares about gifts. I'm getting better. That's all I can say. Right, I got some stuff planned, y'all.
Lauren says, I appreciate you all sharing. Black love is so beautiful. I am divorced and thought all love have left me for good. After watching you all, correction, my finger slipped, there's still hope for me. I'll be in contact, Mr. Reed, about the real estate we talked about.
Okay.
Yeah. There's always hope if that's what you desire.
And let me tell you something, Lawrence. My heart chakra was closed, bro. I'm telling you, a couple years back, this thing closed, and I closed it on purpose. I wasn't gonna love nobody. I had no plans on loving nobody. I no other woman. Look, the only thing a woman was going to get from me was just companionship. And
that's all.
That's all she was gonna get was some companionship, and that she was gonna get that and some companionship. That's what I'm talking about.
Don't nice it up companionship.
That's all she was gonna get.
You get an old lady at the nursing home companionship.
I'm just saying. Visit. That's all she was gonna get.
Right?
Because, like, what was my plan?
To move to the Virgin
I was
Islands?
gonna move to the Virgin Islands, be there for
Ever?
no,
What, 10?
about 6 years,
Okay.
and then
Come back.
no, Africa.
Oh, Africa. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Okay.
Don't lose yourself because we
Okay.
talked about that when we
We
first
did.
started recording.
Okay. Okay. He was gonna go to the Virgin Islands,
Yeah, you don't marry me if you ain't going
But
to stay in
couldn't.
America.
but couldn't.
But
I sent that brother a
oh,
text
which goes to the
after months
which goes to the
and
comp-
said, "Hey, how are you? I hadn't heard from you."
which
And
goes
that's all she wrote.
which goes to
My
the
phone rang. Girl, where you been? I want to marry you.
really, which goes to the compromise thing. I delayed my moving, but it was not a compromising thing for us to get married. It was, there's no way, I don't care who you are, I'm not living in this country. Leaving America, it was more important to me than I can't do this country because.
So why didn't you?
But I'm here now.
Why?
For you.
Because what?
And you had Katie.
Because who?
Because of you.
And why?
Katie.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like, look, we can be together. We gotta go.
Thank you, 99.
But we put a plan together when we gonna leave. So the thing is
It's
I
almost
was
11 o'clock.
yeah, no, I was closed down to allowing myself to love anybody. My baby can't. Sometimes this bothers her, and that's why she was early coming. I'm so straight monotone. It's not that I went on a mission 10 years ago to gain mastery over my emotions. It doesn't mean that you don't have them. It means that you don't let them control you, right? So that you don't have outbursts, you don't make emotional decisions. Because I made emotional decisions that put my finances in a jacked up situation, emotional decision that hurt my children, and they hurt me. So I was like, nope, I need to master my emotions. So I shut my heart down on purpose. You have to recognize when to open your heart, but even in opening your heart, you still have to master your heart to open your
There was
heart.
a crying going on for a minute.
Right. To be able to give love without killing yourself or setting yourself up. The reason why, like, I don't yell, not because I just don't like yelling or I find yelling disrespectful. I don't yell because yell is not love. Yell is self-love because I want to make sure I get all my stuff out because I'm hurt and you need to hear it. But if you're yelling, I can't hear it. And if I'm yelling, she ain't gonna hear it. So we have to develop that ability to communicate in love at all times so that we're actually heard and heard at the core of the heart so that we can come to points of moving forward and bonding closer together.
And I have to work on that.
Right.
Because I yell in a minute.
So my nun yelling, my monotone is making sure that I'm demonstrating love to my wife. And one day she'll get it.
I will. I'm getting it. I'm hearing it. Oh, it's resonating. I'm getting it. As Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my typing. CD maturity number 4. I'll be ready for you, brother. As soon as that CD maturity.
All right, y'all.
We're gonna build you an empire. I'm gonna teach my wife, my baby gonna build an empire too. Show her that.
Being
we way late.
on my empire.
Stack on.
I've already started to build an empire. Now it's just going to take new heights. So, being that we started late and we were rushing, we didn't get to eat. And it's almost 11.
I'm finna queasy.
And we have gone way over, but we appreciate y'all sticking with us because we did start late, so we owed it to you guys.
And we're doing our 10 minutes tonight. Y'all remember what that is?
10 minutes every night with your spouse.
No TV,
no phones,
no business talk.
You can't talk about work. You can't talk about how much the kids got on your nerves. You can't even talk about how much they got on your nerves. You have to talk about something of a positive nature that will affect both of you all, or something that you just want to share with your spouse that made you feel good, or something that so 10 minutes of just
song with your wife
and fresh air Is there something specific that drains your energy? He doesn't like arguing. He doesn't like disagreeing. He doesn't like
It's not disagree. It's
oh, I'm
argue.
sorry. Not yeah.
We
Not
can disagree.
Right.
It's just
He
argue.
doesn't like arguing. And I don't like arguing either, contrary to popular belief. I don't like arguing. I just get my point out, try to get my point across in a different manner than he does. And because he doesn't like yelling, he doesn't like the voice raised. Once he says, "Why you raising your voice? Who you yelling at?" Y'all remember the movie The Exorcist and the head spin around?
Mm-hmm.
Like my head go around and I come back like who are you talking to though? Working on it. Working on it.
And I mean, and here's the thing: what's going to drain your spirit is going to be things that your energy is going to be things that go against your nature of who you are.
Right.
Right. Your base. You have a nature of who you are. When things go against that, that drains you.
Right.
That pulls away from you.
Right.
Like some people, there are people. Well, arguing and yelling excites them.
Right. It does. That's some people. Yeah.
It's them.
Yeah.
But you know what drains you is gonna be things that go just it just like it just tears you.
Yeah.
But you letting it go.
So Ron Clark said, last question. Are there people whose opinions you really don't value at all? Yeah.
99.9% of the population.
For one, people I don't sleep with.
Yeah.
For two, people I don't make financial decisions with. For three, people I don't make emotional decisions with. For four, people no. So honestly, people that aren't productive. I don't know if that was an individual or a collective question, but I'm going to say collective.
Yeah.
People who collectively for us are not productive. So shout out to my sister Claudette and her husband Paul and my cousin Cortland. Those opinions matter to me because they poured into us getting better.
And let me qualify that. Their people's opinions matter in certain subject matter.
Right.
Just because your opinion matters in one subject doesn't mean it matters in all.
And people that know how to respect that and don't go into personal issues and things without being invited. Mm-hmm. That's another thing. So those opinions and folks in that manner, yeah, they really don't matter at all because you know when people are genuinely thank you. You know when people are genuinely for you.
And it's the same thing for me. It's like your opinion has value if you have value in that arena. If you don't have value to me in that arena, then your opinion doesn't matter. You know, like
2067. We will check it out one life.
If a person is so at my store, right? Everybody got their opinion on how to make my store more, make more money and become a bigger household name and all this kind of stuff. And I asked them, like, okay, what do you do for a living? This lady was in there the other day. She was, are you doing the black business? They giving out they just got $6 million for black business. Are you getting it?
Did you get it?
And I was like, what does this do? I don't know. I just heard it on but you got to get that because that's the only way your business is gonna be successful. And I looked at it, I said, no, it's not. My business is already successful. I said, I don't need that in order to be successful. I said, now I can respect, our other opportunities. Right. I said, but to say, and I told her, I said, it's kind of messed up if you're telling black people the only way they can be successful is through that mechanism. And, I was just like, so I didn't have value to her opinion. So you got to have value to people's opinion. Just like with Lawrence Patterson, we're going to talk about real estate and everything. Don't take my opinion if I don't know nothing about it or haven't done anything with it or, that sort of thing. But I have a lot of great experience in that before I even got the license. So, yeah, that's whose opinion we respect. We're going to watch this movie, 2067. Oh, thank you, Ron. We appreciate that.
Oh,
Ron did a
sweet.
super. It's called a super chat where he donated some money to the thank you money. I appreciate you.
Nice.
Thank you. We appreciate that. That's cool.
Ron, come to the wedding.
Yeah, I don't know if you went to tagteamwedding.com.
Tagteamwedding.com. And
Yeah.
no, tagteamwedding.com. Tag Team Marriage is the YouTube page.
Okay, so tagteamwedding.com.
Tagteamwedding.com. You all are invited to the wedding in February, the big wedding in February at the Georgia
You ain't
Aquarium.
doing nothing. Come to Atlanta.
All the details are there. We're going to have a full weekend.
Where you at, Ron? Where you at?
Weekend.
Where are you? Where you at? I know, like you can type that. Fast.
Right.
Where you at?
Ron, like, wait a minute. I'm
just saying.
All right, guys.
Come hang out with us.
We love you
We're
all.
gonna have a great time. I know I'm gonna shoot some lives left and right.
It's gonna be a lot
for YouTube, for my YouTube channel, because it's gonna be people. My crazy people gonna be with me.
Mm-hmm.
I have some foolishness going on.
We'll have a good time. All right, y'all.
My baby time to eat. Cigar bar. We should go to the cigar bar.
It's time to eat. It's gonna be a salad. It has to be light, but
I want you around there.
I'm gonna eat.
So I can fuss at him and be like, okay, you close enough. Come on to the wedding. It ain't gonna matter, Ron, where you at.
We still want you to come.
Because a plane will get you there. And not just Ron, Lawrence, Naughty Naughty. If you have not RSVP, I need you to go to tagteamwedding.com.
Yeah, we want to meet you guys. We want to spend that weekend together. North Carolina, close enough.
Where about? I'm just
saying. Run 5 days to type North Carolina. You got inbox him, Ron.
Only because we were just in Greenville, South Carolina.
Yeah, we were in Greenville.
So I'm just curious if he was close, like you're in Charlotte or something. That was only I think Charlotte's like an hour from Greenville.
Crystal agrees on position of interacting with opposite sex. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All that? Over there?
Yeah.
But it's just been 1 minute though.
Yeah. I don't know if it's delayed or whatever. Yeah, Crystal, I don't even.
Yeah, we was running late, y'all. We have.
I don't even give the time and attention to it for me to even have to say, I'm married. I got a husband.
But we want to keep growing all our channels, all our so please hit the thumbs up buttons, like everything.
But we would love for you guys to come over to the YouTube Tag Team Marriage page on Monday.
Yep, we want to get that page
YouTube
built up.
Tag Team Marriage page.
Yeah, in order for us to use our other devices on that one, which have better cameras, we need to have 1,000 subscribers in order to be able to use our 1,000 subscribers to be able to use like phones.
All right, you all.
All right, so we're gonna say good night.
Good night.
We appreciate you guys. Can't wait to see you guys at the wedding. Tag Team Marriage. We'll see you there. So have a great time.
Good night.
Good night. Oh, now he wants to say originally from Athens. Came up late.
Good night, Gail.